Hi, I'm just checking my computer out of my working area. I'm sorry. I have a piece of paper over my computer so that I don't see the camera. And that's really killing my good entrance that I had planned. There we go. The camera's weird on this. Here we are again. Welcome to week 3 of the Reflect, Choose, and Celebrate Challenge. And we want to talk about, before you think about and plan out 2026, you need to do a little bit of reflection and thinking about who you want to be. And I'm not asking you to think about who you need to be based on someone else's definition of success, but actually, who do you want to be? Because here's the thing, most business owners I meet, or a lot of business owners I meet, are building their identity on somebody else's vision, on somebody else's idea of success. And guess what? It's hard and it's not successful and it can be difficult. And I know because I've been there. So today I want to walk through a model that is the be, do, have model. And it flips everything over from the way we would traditionally think. So let's explore what happens when you give yourself the gift of a little time to think about who do you want to be. And you can think about this on very different levels. So I'm Heather Cameron. I am the owner of Horizon Performance Insight, and my website is igniteyourmarket.com. And I specialize in helping women business owners really find their way of running their business and doing it through effective marketing techniques that work, but that suit them, and really growing their business with intention so you can have the business that you want that fits you. And it's took me, I've been in business for over 20 years, and it took me a while to figure out what that is for me because I was listening too much to who I should be versus who I want to be. So this is week 3 of the Reflect, Choose, and Celebrate Challenge. If you've missed week 1 and 2, they are in the playlist, so you can click and watch them. And we've been focusing on actually slowing down to speed up. So I don't know about you, but I have tons of emails in my inbox saying, you got to plan 2026. Let's get together. Got this planning session. And that is all good. But if you don't reflect back on what you've done in 2025, what you've done in your business for however long you've been in business, and you don't give yourself the gift of time to really have some deep thoughts about that, then your plan may not be the right plan for you. And I'm a firm believer you do not have to have a perfect plan on January 1st. In fact, if you don't write your 2026 plan until February 29th, 28th, there's no 29th this year, that's cool because there's still 10 months worth of time that you can achieve things in. And so I really want to take the pressure off of people and allow you to reflect. Choose is really important, and celebrate. So we're going to talk about choosing today and about who you want to be. So we have all been, I don't know, educated or whatever to really think in the way of, if only I had, then I can do, and then I can be, right? So if only I had this, then I could do this, then I could be. And I can give you some great examples on this one. So an examples in the business space and non-business space. And so one of the ones I always use when I talk about this is, if only I had the Peloton bike machine, I would start working out every day, and then I could be a fit, focused person, right? And so that's that. If only I had the perfect trainer, or if I only went to the perfect gym membership, if I only had the partner who'd made me go, right? It's like, if only I had that, then I could start doing this, and then I would be something. But if you flip it, and if you flip it to, if I am someone who works out every day, if I'm going to be, I want to be someone who works out every day, I am going to start doing the things like waking up early, putting it in my schedule, etc. And I'm going to look for the things I need to have to support that. And it's a really different shift. And when we decide the end result, we decide who we are being. So if we're being somebody who prioritizes our health, if we're being somebody who prioritizes going to the gym or working out, then we are going to start doing it more often. And then we are going to look for the things we need to have. And it's a small shift. I will say that shift works really well when it's something you want to be. It's not like my doctor said I should be somebody who works out every day. That's not going to work out as well as to say I really want to. For whatever reason, I want to keep up with my grandkids. I want to keep up with my kids. I want to make sure my health stays. Whatever the reason is, when we get into what we want is when things shift. It's when motivation shifts. And so from a business perspective, the same thing applies. I hear it a lot. I had a client ask me the other day, who should I be following in marketing? So I need to have this information from someone so that I can start doing something, and then I'll start being this. And we have that a lot. If only, I could have I get this asked me a lot, sorry, when people are looking at potentially launching like a membership, of course, the first question they ask me is, what software do I have to have? What, membership? And they go on this exploration of trying to figure out what software they do or whatever, as opposed to saying, no, I am going to start with, I am going to launch a membership. I am going to be somebody in business who has a membership, and I am going to be the lead of this membership. And then I am going to start to do the things I need to do. And when you reverse that, your membership doesn't need all this crazy software that's out there that can support it, but it doesn't need it. We can start doing the things like identifying it, marketing it, understanding the key things that go into that. And leading into that, I have a really good example from a client that's new to business, not new to business. She's been in business a long time. She's just new to the business that she's creating. And we were talking, and she was, I got to have everything this, I got to have this much in my course, I've got to have this much ready, I've got to do all that stuff. And then through our conversations and coaching, she said to me, she goes, I need to be someone who sells. And I thought, light bulb moment. I want to be, in fact, she said, I want to be somebody who just naturally sells. If every business owner I ever coached came up with that, including myself in certain times of my life, that is key to a business, because if we're not selling, we're not in business. And so that's a great example of, I need to be somebody who wants to sell. So I need to start creating the marketing message and the content to sell it. And then I'll worry about what I need to have to deliver it and to build it. It's not that they don't go together, because they're important, but we went from a complex, I've got to have all this content prepared, I've got to do all this stuff, to a really powerful, simple design for her membership that she's going to launch. And she's going to be out there launching something very quickly. And so that's a brilliant moment, right? Those are that sense of, who do I want to be? So for you and your business, who do you want to be, right? Not who you should be. And if you haven't listened to my restaurant lens model, it is on my YouTube video. There's a video about it, which is, we can be all different types of businesses and they all work. So a little bit of deciding what type of business you want to be then makes you lean into what type of leader you want to be, what type of things you want to do as the leader. And then you can look at what you are doing on a regular basis. And then you can look at what you have, right? So one of the things for me that I decided in the summer, so this is not, you have to decide this at any time, it's a great conversation to have with yourself a lot, is I really wanted to be what I call my bistro model. And for me, that means I'm not your average coach. I am not like some other cookie cutter coach. There's nothing wrong with them. They all exist. I'm also not a 5-star top end, everything's posh and perfect person. That's not my style. My style is grounded. My style is unique. My style is customized to you, right? And so leaning into that has really empowered who I am being on a daily basis, who I'm being with my clients, who I'm being when I put content out, who I'm being in doing this, which is exactly why I've chosen not to do the let's get going and planning 2026. I have decided that I know I perform so much better when I take the pressure off of having the perfect plan. And if you're on my email list, if you're not, please sign up. There's some information in the description. I decided to take that pressure off. January 1st is no different than December 1st, than February 1st, than February 19th, or whatever. It is no different. We just put this stupid pressure on ourselves as business owners. Now, yes, for some of us and for many entrepreneurs, sole entrepreneurs, it is the beginning of your fiscal year. So you do need to think about your fiscal year and think about what you're doing, but whether you do it right away, like to me, if you can spend more energy right now in December, closing off 2025, doing it right, having the energy, making sure that you understand. And some people say, well, nobody's buying in 2025. And that's not true. I have actually had clients hire me on like the 29th of December because they wanted the expense in 2025. And sorry, in the year, not 2025. They wanted the expense in the current fiscal year because they had made income. They didn't know what was going to happen next year, but they knew they had enough income that having an offset expense that they were going to pay for anyways, having that offset allowed them to, optimize their taxes for the year. So understanding that, they're looking at their fiscal year. They're looking at what's going on now, not in the future. It was a combination of the two. But more importantly, I want you to really think about who you want to be. And I also want you to think about, are you trying to be somebody else's vision of success. So when I first started online, there was a real particular vision, and I have been online. I've been in business for 25 years, 24 years, 22 years, something like that. 22 years. There was a particular vision of women who were promoting and doing things online. And it was really, you kind of had to go that way because that's what everybody was teaching. And there was not as much diversity that is out there. There was not as many choices. There wasn't things like Facebook and all those things that we have now. Social media really wasn't part of the marketing at that point in time. But there was a particular way people marketed it, and you really leaned into having to be that. And guess what? It's not who I was. It's never been who I was. I know I did okay, but it really never felt comfortable. And so just even now, 22 years into business, about a year and a half ago, I knew I needed to pivot, but I wasn't really sure of who I wanted to be. And that has evolved in that time frame. And where I am now is so much where I want to be. As a business coach, as a business owner, as a woman in the business space, I want to be that bistro model. And that means a lot to me. It means that I'm selling authentically, which is an overused word, but it really means I'm selling to your unique style. I want to be the coach that people come to because they want to be heard, understood, but knows the vision of where they want to go. And that's where my sweet spots is. I can hear and understand, and I can take what you tell me and actually paint and help you find your future in a way that you never anticipated it would be there. I can simplify it, make it doable, and then help you figure out how to get it out there. And so that's who I want to be. And that's an example of stepping into the be. How am I doing it? Right? So the doing is part of what I'll be working on. What are my solutions? How am I, being actually? How am I being as a marketing person? How am I marketing my business? That is like part of the being and the doing. How am I being as marketing? How do I want to show up? Who do I want to be? And then how am I marketing my business? What are the things I'm doing? And then what do I need to have to support it? And that's another example. And so I want you to really spend some time, embrace the be, do, have, and actually give yourself the time and the grace to think about this. And really, it can become a bit of a practice that you really think about who you want to be. And it can shift. One of my accountability partners, I was watching a video from her yesterday, and she was really acknowledging the fact that she's gone through a big shift in her business, and that there's an element of having to accept that so she can step in who she wants to be, now, not who she used to be and not who she should be. And so think about that, enjoy that reflection, and share it if you want. You can share it in the comments, or you can send me an email. Just share what that means to you. So who do you want to be? And you can be this at any time. This exercise is so powerful to keep in mind at all times. So welcome, and thank you so much for joining up. Day, we have gone through a number of great exercises. Week one was what you could do in December to actually make an impact on your business and not kind of like be running ahead to the next year. Week two was really looking at reflecting on the last year and thinking about, what do you want to keep? What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to grow? What do you want to maintain? And what do you want to do less of? And that's in the video from last week. Here we're talking about who you want to be. And next week, we're going to talk about mindsets that we just want to get rid of, things that we don't want to do, and how do we identify? So taking this a level deeper, we'll be doing that in the last week. It's Christmas between New Year's. There's still going to be a video, probably won't be live, but just like celebrating, reflecting, celebrating, and really giving yourself the gift of a moment of reflection. And that's the last exercise that we're going to do. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching this. Really relax, enjoy this part of your business, because when we enjoy this part of our business, and then when we enjoy this type of business, we show up better, we are more powerful, and we have better results. So thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for being part of this Reflect, Choose, and Celebrate challenge. And I'm not against planning. Anybody who knows me, I actually love planning. I just don't like pressure planning. And so we are going to move into that in January with another focused session through January. So thank you so much. Talk soon. Bye.